Hey fellow Metafighters, Laggimus Prime here once again to give you another in-depth or at least a good explanation of some of the cards, or at least all of the cards, here in Medabots Card Robattle RB. Today we are going to be covering Medaforce, tactical cards, and medals. Now I will give a bit of a warning here. Medals haven't all been revealed yet. We don't know all the medals there are. We don't know all the cards that are associated with medals, but I'm just going to take what I have of basic knowledge and just give it to you that way. Just a simple little info guide. But with that, let's go ahead and get right to it. So once again, I'll go ahead and start the video out as saying that there are 6 types of tactical cards and 6 types of Medaforce cards. There's a lot more tactical cards than there are Medaforce cards. There's actually, I think, only 4 cards of each type for Medaforce cards, but that doesn't mean that we can't get any more in the future. And once again, for your viewing pleasure, I'll go ahead and show them on the screen. We'll have fighting, shooting, support, recovery, defense, and setup type tactical cards. And it's always nice to see that there are multiple different ways to identify what type of cards these are. You can either look at the top right of the card to see the icon, or the colors will tell you what type of card it is. So these tactical cards all only cost 1 tactical stock. I've chosen them as more of a simplified example. They don't do very much, but still it's good to see. There are a wide array of tactical cards that cost a lot more than just 1. But if you ever want to activate a tactical card, you need to pay attention to the top left. This indicates how much tactical stock you need in order to activate this card. So for example, if I wanted to activate this tactical card called Piercing Round Deployment, I would need at least 1 available tactical stock. And usually you always have at least maybe 1 tactical stock on your side of the field. The only time you wouldn't is if you've run out of arm parts or you don't have any support Medabots. You usually have at least 1. But still, if you want to activate some of the more powerful ones, you will need more than just 1 tactical stock. It's also very important to remember that you need the correct tactical stock. So if I wanted to activate this, I would need 1 shooting tactical stock. The best example I can give of this is mana from Magic. You need blue mana to activate blue spells. Simple as that. Now there are quite a number of powerful tactical cards, and you need a lot of stock to use it. Here's an example right here. This awesome looking card right here is called Final Blow. It requires 4 fighting stock in order to activate, and its ability is choose 1 random opponent Medabot and deal 6,000 damage, and you do that twice. But if you've already noticed, this card not only has a lot of tactical stock that needs to activate, it also has a barrier limit. And honestly, it makes sense. The fact that this card can do 6,000 damage and do it twice, it really does kind of need a limit to actually be able to use. Because you could use this card on your opponent's leader and hit it twice just for nothing. You don't have to attack or use an ability. You just got to use tactical stock and hit it twice. And if they don't have anything higher than 6,000, then you're getting rid of 2 barrier or barrier and a part or both of their parts. So as a refresher, you will need 4 fighting tactical stock, and your barrier has to be 2 or fewer to activate this card. Now we'll go ahead and move on to Medaforce cards. Tactical cards are nice and all, but they're very simple. Medaforce cards are pretty much even more simple. They don't really have any resources that you need to activate. Pretty much they activate whenever your barrier is at a certain limit. And as always, there are 6 types of Medaforce cards: fighting, shooting, support, recovery, defense, and setup. And as I said, these don't really require any resources to activate. All you really need to do is wait till mid or late game, depending on the Medaforce card. Some of them only require you to have 4 or fewer barrier, such as the shooting type Medaforce in the middle. But for Medaforce cards that have a lot stronger effects, you'll have to have some pretty low barrier to activate them. But as a refresher, these cards are mainly to be used during the mid to late game, and they can only be used once. You are allowed 2 Medaforce cards on your side of the field during a Robattle. Don't worry, you're allowed to use both of them, but you can only use them once. But Medaforce cards aren't just something to throw into a deck or anything like that, or look at a list and see what's there. I mean, technically that is here. You are building a deck with these, but they're actually tied to metals. So if you want to build a deck, you'll actually have to think about what type of metal you want to put into the deck for those Medaforce cards. Now, as I said, I don't have complete information about metals. When we go into the practice edition, you don't really get to see all the medals. You get to see all the cards, but you don't get to see all the medals. So I'm just going to have to kind of go with what we've been shown through live streams and stuff like that. But each medal in the game can be leveled up and unlock more Medaforce cards that you can use in the game. And as it says right below, each medal has a different Medaforce card that can be used. Also, depending on what type of version you get will be the starting medal that you get. So if you get the Medabi version, you get the Kabuto medal. If you get the Rokusho version, you'll get the Stag Beetle or the Kuwagata medal. But what I really like is that you do have to level up these medals in order to get more cards. This will kind of keep you coming back and wondering, what cards can I get from this medal? What cards can I get from this? This also gives you a wide range of deck building that you can do. That's what I've always loved about Medabots, is the customization and all that stuff. I feel like it's been wanting or needing an updated card game for the longest time. But before I keep going on with that, as you level up a medal, it does change. And as you see, the very first one is copper, and then it goes to silver, and then gold. Now, what's funny about me making this video is I'm literally having to go back into this after I've already rendered it, because as soon as I got done with this video, they released a live stream of explaining the medals, and there's a lot more information that I actually got in the middle of making this. So, we already know that you have to level up the medals, and you earn experience points by playing matches, which increases your levels. And as your level increases, the performance of your Medaforce improves. So I was kind of wondering what they meant by that. Here is exactly what they mean. So as you see here, as you level up these medals, not only does the medal itself level up and you unlock cards, you actually increase the stats of the cards themselves. And it seems to go in twos. So when you have a level 1, you just get this basic Medaforce ability, and then you go to level 2, and then you upgrade it. Then, as you level up, you get to level 3, you unlock another card, and then level 4, it also increases its stats. Not only that, if you look at the top left of the card, you notice the barrier limit actually increases. So not only does it get a boost in damage or stats, it also becomes cheaper or easier to use. And I believe it seems that the max level for medals are level 6 when you unlock the last card, and then you also are able to upgrade it. Not only that, you are able to play it for cheaper, or at least a little bit sooner in the game. Now, as I said, I don't know all the medals and all the cards associated with them, but they at least gave us some screenshots in this live stream. But this is an example of what I mean, that these Medaforce cards are associated with these medals. As you can see with the Kabuto version, you'll get 3 cards: Simultaneous Attack, Reload, and Sonic Shot. Now, Elephant is the same kind of thing, but it has a change on its last card. Instead of having Sonic Shot, it will have Rock Crusher. But as we look at these medals, we can always see that there's at least 1 card difference, even if the medal themselves are somewhat similar in nature. But as we saw before, we had the Kabuto and Elephant. Here we have the Stag Beetle and the Butterfly medal. Then we can see here the King medal and the Cat medal. And instead of having Berserk for the King, the Cat will have high mobility, which kind of makes sense. I mean, cats are usually very mobile. But like with all the Medabots and leaders and stuff like that, there are at least 6 different types of medals that have these cards. And there's at least 2 variants of these medals. But we don't know if these are all the medals. Like I said, in the practice edition, we don't actually get to see all the medals, but they're showing us quite a lot in these live streams. But that's the one great thing about TCGs, is that you can't really expect everything to be in the first set. And that's one thing that I'm looking forward to, is that in the future, more than likely, we'll see more medals, more cards, and everything. And I know for a fact that Card Robattle RB does not have every Medabot in it yet. So that means that we can get more cards in the future in ways of DLC, and maybe even some physical cards. But that is where I'm going to end the video here. I know this video was a bit on the shorter side, so if I did miss something, please let me know. But tactical cards, Medaforce cards, and medals, there's not too much to talk about them. They're actually quite simple. But if you ever do need more examples of how to use them, I have plenty of gameplay videos in my channel. You can go ahead and check it out, and I'm pretty sure it'll be a great use to you. But I do have some plans for future videos where I will cover every single Medabot, every single tactical card, well, pretty much every single card in the game, and explain what they do instead of having to go through all of my daily videos. I also have plans to describe every single status effect, every single keyword, everything that you pretty much need to know going forward. But for now, I hope you have a good day, and I'll catch you later.